Hey, friends, welcome back to Intentional Motherhood, the podcast where we are here to talk about how to raise your frequency, align your energy, and manifest abundance with God. I'm your host, Kelsey Red, and today I want to answer one simple question because this word gets thrown around a lot, and sometimes it feels a little confusing, a little woo woo, or maybe even a little uncomfortable to someone who is religious. And that is the word manifesting. What does it actually mean to manifest? Let's start by clearing some misconceptions up. Manifesting is not magical. It's not making wishes and having a genie come and grant you those wishes. Manifesting is not about forcing outcomes, and it's not just about positive thinking all day long, positive affirmations. It's definitely not about just desperately wanting something harder and hoping that the universe just notices and presents it to you with a nice tied up bow. Manifestation is all about alignment. It's all about aligning your true bodily beliefs and reactions to what you fully know and trust is already coming to you or is already yours. It's about what's happening inside of you, lining up with the creative intelligence. I say that with capital creative, capital I intelligence, the divine source that shapes all of the universe. Now, I've been setting the stage for this for a while with these previous episodes where we've talked about aligning your energy and understanding how thoughts are actual frequencies that are communicating with your body and your chemical reactions to create an actual physical lived experience, which then signals to the energy around you to start aligning with what's going on the inside. When we repeatedly think and feel as if a future reality already exists, our nervous system starts to make changes and our body starts to believe in that new future reality. We stop living in the past where we're just constantly reimagining past experiences, and we actually start to begin signaling a new experience, a new future. This is the part that I absolutely think is wild, and I hope you guys think it is as crazy as I do. And that is that your body and your brain do not understand the difference between something that has already happened and something that you are deeply rehearsing. It believes what it feels over and over and over again. So let's look at this in two different scenarios. If you've had negative experiences and you continue rehearsing those same negative experiences with similar thoughts about, oh, I can't believe I did this super embarrassing thing in front of everyone, and you relive the thoughts, you relive the experience, you relive the feelings, the chemical reaction of shame and embarrassment or whatever it is, depression even, then your body just starts to believe what it continues to feel over and over again. And you're teaching your body to live in this state, this perpetual now state of shame or guilt or depression. Well, the same thing is true with imagining something positive in the future. If you start deeply rehearsing through meditative experiences a beautiful future that you just absolutely are connected with seeing and experiencing in the future, and you start having thoughts about this future and you start having coherent feelings about this future. Let's just say having a experience on the lake with your family and you're seeing the vision of it. You're thinking the thoughts about how much fun your family is having and how this is going to be such an amazing memory. And you're generating chemical reactions or emotions that match with this beautiful vision of, I feel so joyful right now. I feel so peaceful right now. And you can actually feel that in your body. Well, the same thing happens. Your body starts believing what it feels over and over and over again. And this is what Joe Dispenza means when he talks about the body becomes the subconscious mind. Because when your body believes that something is real, You're not chasing it, you're not grasping at it, you're already living from it. And this is the difference between wanting, craving, desiring, and actually embodying change. And actually, when we get into a state of wanting, we're separating ourselves from the desired outcome, the desired experience. The literal experience of wanting shows a separation or a distance between the experience and where we are now. So we actually have to start embodying the experience rather than saying, I want this experience on the lake with my family. We're saying, I am having this experience with my family on the lake. I am grateful for this experience with my family on the lake. I am enjoying right now in my mind the experience with my family on this lake. A lot of people think that manifestation means just attracting something from outside of themselves, like pulling it towards you. But it's actually almost the opposite. You don't attract what you want, you attract and you express what you already know yourself to be, what you identify within yourself. Neville Goddard says it this way. He says, we need to stop thinking of the end and instead start thinking from the end. And please hit me up in the reviews or the comments if you have ever heard the name Neville Goddard before, because if you have, you're my people. Probably most of you have never heard of him, but he talks about thinking from the end rather than thinking about this is the end I want to accomplish. We actually put ourselves in the end, in the desired outcome or experience, and we start living and experiencing what it's like to already be from that end. And when we embody these experiences, our choices will start to change. Our perceptions will start to change. Our reactions to what we see around us will start to change. The expectations that we have for what we expect our future to look like slowly starts to change. And all of these changes that are coming from within you create a new reality. So again, we're not talking about manifestation in some magical genie granting you a wish kind of way, but in a way where we're actually creating an experience within ourselves. And then we see ourselves going through space and time, making certain choices, making certain connections, following certain opportunities and paths that take us to the place that we already knew we were at. This starts to get, or I know it starts to get really abstract, and I hope you're following me because this is such an important thing to wrap your head around. And we're going to talk about even deeper roots to all of this, including how the ancient wisdom thought and taught about word as actually creative, a creative act, and how everything was created spiritually and in the imagination before it physically came into form. All of this we're going to continue on all of this, and I hope you stick with the podcast to get through all of that. But in the meantime, I just wanted to help you understand a little bit better about what manifestation means and what it looks like and what it's not, and why it isn't a woo-woo thing. And also, I want to make sure that you understand that all of this is done in partnership with God, in alignment with God's will and with His ability to create. This isn't something that we take over God's creative power. It's something where we actually partner with God in His creative power and in the creative power that He has granted us with. The fact that we have the ability to create inside of our mind, experience, imagine, feel, and truly already have our body react as if it's actually happening. Not to mention the fact that we have the ability to create things like a beautiful meal or an art project or a written word or poem. We have the ability to create. God has granted us the ability to create. And it's just using that same ability in a new way that allows us to create the life that we've dreamed of. So in the next couple episodes, depending on how things go, we're going to talk about how this actually connects directly to prayer and why prayer isn't about convincing God to give you something, and why it's not about begging for what you need, and why it's not even actually separate from manifesting at all, but how it's actually partnering and positioning yourself to receive what God has already wanted to bless you with and made available to you, and what His will for you is in your future. So don't forget to tune in to the companion meditation for this episode. It will be released here in the next couple days. And in the meantime, get on my email list and let's stay in touch. Until next time, remember you're doing an amazing job, and I'll see you on the next episode of Intentional Motherhood.